Welcome to the bootcamp of routing switching. Remember, it's a lab-focused bootcamp. It means our main focus, main goal will be to prepare ourselves for the lab examination of CCIE routing switching version 5, right? Uh, Few things related to the scope of this bootcamp. See, there are basically a few real labs which we have to cover. And right now there are basically two active labs, and in each active lab there are two variations, right? So we can say okay, main labs are two, but each lab has two variations, small little variations, right? About 6 weeks back there was a rumor about a new lab, right? We can name that lab as lab 3. But that lab appeared, and then it was all of a sudden blocked. Cisco never gave that lab again. So initially our focus will be on these two real labs, of course with variations. And meanwhile, if the news about lab 3 is confirmed, right, and Cisco started rolling out this in all centers, then once this lab is cracked, we can always focus on that as well. But right now, there are basically two active labs which should be our goal. Then we have to cover two real troubleshooting scenarios, of course with variations. And the third thing is diagnostic section. In covering all these three things, I would be needing around 45 training hours. I expect that you have good concepts of CCNP routing switching level. And as I've told you that major focus of this bootcamp will be on the lab. It's a lab focused bootcamp. It's not a technology focused bootcamp. However, if anyone feels that he wants to basically revise a couple of foundation technologies like OSPF, BGP, dynamic multi-point VPN or basic L3 MPLS VPN, you can always ping me over the email, and I can always share my own videos of technology related to that particular topic, right? In this way you can self-pace your revision of the foundation technologies. But in this bootcamp, my focus will be on the actual stuff, on the real lab. Well, guys, now let's see what will be the deliverable from my side. See, it will be the workbooks, real workbooks. Then I have to demonstrate all the tasks of the real lab and troubleshooting scenarios. I will be sharing a fully workable virtual machine based on WebIOU. And remember, this is the practice which is being followed in your actual exam as well. Your actual exam of CCIE routing switching is not conducted over the physical equipment. Cisco also uses the same arrangement. So the way in which we practice in this bootcamp, it is very close to the real environment with that you should be facing in the actual lab exam. And this setup can be installed in your own machine. So there is no need of any rack rental or any physical equipment, right? Simply install that machine and it will be available to you 24/7, and you can use it as per your own convenience. I guess you need around 8 GB of RAM, and if you have Core i5, well, this is fine. 8 GB with Core i5 processing it works fine with that. I'm also using the same. By the way, I will put up the machine in front of you guys in next couple of minutes. And my machine on which I'm running this setup has 8 GB and it is Core i5. Let's now discuss about the structure of your exam, how your exam will be conducted in on the actual day. See, as I told you that basically there are three elements. The first thing that you have to handle is the troubleshooting scenario. In this troubleshooting scenario, you will be faced with 10 trouble tickets and maximum time which will be available to you for handling this section is 150 minutes, 2 hours 30 minutes maximum time. So roughly you can say, okay, you have around 15 minutes for each ticket, for each problem. And probably this is the section which is most critical because of the sensitivity of this time bound structure, right? See, you have to get 80% marks out in this section. It means out of these 10 tickets, if you cover 8 tickets or 9 tickets correctly, then you are safe. And as I told you that probably this is the most tricky thing, most tricky part of the whole structure, troubleshooting. This troubleshooting, it is conducted over virtual devices. As I've told you that there are no physical devices involved in actual lab. So this troubleshooting section is being built on virtual devices. See, the order which I've shown you over here, this is the exact order which is followed in the actual examination as well. See, first of all, you have to handle the troubleshooting section. Then you have to handle diagnostic section. And in third step, you have to handle configuration section, right? So this is the exact order in which you operate. You start with the troubleshooting, then diagnostic, and then configuration. You cannot change the order. Once you will start your lab examination, the first thing that you have to face is the troubleshooting. Then, of course, diagnostic, and then the configuration. I hope, Fazbhai, you have got the answer of your query, right? Okay, I was saying that this troubleshooting section is the most critical section because it's time-bound activity. Whether to find a fault, if it clicks, you can get the fault within 2-3 minutes. But if unfortunately you are stuck, then it becomes a bit tense, right? So probably this is the thing which is the most critical. We have to practice ourselves, or we have to prepare ourselves in this troubleshooting section in a very specific way. And once we will focus on the troubleshooting, I will share the details and the strategy how to handle this section. Remember guys, it's an orientation session. I'm just giving you an overview of the stuff, no deep dives, right? But once we'll discuss and start each particular component, at that point in time, I would be explaining the things in detail. The second section that you have to handle is the diagnostic. Now, this diagnostic section is 30 minutes in total. It's a 30 minutes duration section, right? And this section, it resembles just like your written exam. Right? It is very much like written exam. There are no devices, by the way, which are in diagnostic section, right? And you will be given with some stuff like some situation, few logs, few email messages, few configurations of the devices, and then you will be asked to reply in multiple choice questions type. There will be couple of multiple choice options that will be asked, and you have to respond to those multiple choice questions, right? So that's why I've told you that this diagnostic, it is very much like the written exam, right? Not necessarily, yeah. Diagnostics, it may not be with reference to troubleshooting. It will be a separate. These are separate test cases, right? And they don't have any relevance with the previous troubleshooting. Troubleshooting scenarios, they are absolutely different, right? And diagnostic stuff is absolutely different. But see, over here you have to physically handle, I would say, these virtual devices. You will be getting access of these devices and you have to physically handle these devices. Whereas in case of diagnostic section, as I've told you that there are no devices at all. They are just like your written exam. A couple of scenario-based stuff that will be shared, and based on that stuff, they will ask you to respond. The third section, it is your configuration lab, actual lab scenario. And over here again, you will have access to virtual devices, and you have to do the configurations as per set pattern. This configuration section may last for 5 hours. I don't think so. It's very tricky. Probably it is the easiest part, right? This configuration section. It is easy stuff, not a very difficult deal. You start from one side and you can simply sail yourself till end. If you save 30 minutes in troubleshooting, then this 30 minutes, you can avail those 30 minutes in the configuration section. So the minimum time length for this configuration section, it will be 5 hours, and maximum it will be 5 hours 30 minutes. If you save 30 minutes over here, you can get 5 hours 30 minutes for the configuration section. But honestly speaking, in my opinion, over here you need time, right? So you can say your configuration section is for 5 hours, troubleshooting is for 2.5 hours, 30 minutes for diagnostic, and 5 hours for this. So in total, you have 8 hours labs in total. After 4 hours, 3.5 hours or 4 hours, you have 30 minutes lunch break, right? So your total span that you have to spend in the Cisco's environment is around 8 hours, 30 minutes, with 30 minutes break in between. There's one comment from one of the students, KL, in diagnostic, how much stuff you have to handle. I guess it varies. Right now, there are 2 to 3 diagnostic scenarios which are there, right? So it varies. 6 questions, right? In one of the setups, there are 6 questions that you have to respond. Then roughly, it is basically 6 to 8 questions maximum, not more than that. But that is just a choosing, right? You have multiple options and you have to simply click on the right option. No configuration involved in this. So if you know the exact theme of the diagnostic stuff, well, this again becomes very easy, not very difficult to handle. Remember, guys, it's a very important slide because it gives you the complete picture of your effort that you have to do, right? Troubleshooting, diagnostic, and configuration. Now I will give you certain more details related to this whole stuff, but just as a reference, remember that very recently my student has passed the R&S lab. I think on 2nd April, this guy appeared and Abdullah cleared the lab. Similarly, on 21st March, this guy Dildar, he appeared, he cleared the lab, right? So the stuff that is offered, that is shared, that will be shared. It is very much reliable and trustworthy. Nothing to worry about, right? Just focus on what is being told to you guys, and I think it should be a good and easy sale, right? Any question up to this point? Class is with me. Let me tell you that once I ask questions, any question or any comment, you can always give me small little reply like okay, fine, this, that it helps me in smooth conduct of the session, because I can see there are around 10 or 12 students who are currently joined, and there are a few more who have already paid but who I can see they have not joined yet. So in this way we develop certain mechanism in which our session goes smooth, right? So once I ask questions like this, so I expect that if you have questions, then you can put the questions or simply give me comments like okay and fine. In this way, it will definitely help me. Now there's one question, please share the class length, right? See, the length of the class, regular length of the class, it will be around 3 to 4 hours. 4 hours, right? And but again, it is it depends on the group, right? We can mutually decide together whether we want to have one session per week or 2 sessions per week. If you go for the second session would be session will be on Sunday, right? Time we can always discuss. I can see there are people from EST in my group. I can see there are people from Middle East, and I can see a couple of students from Australia as well, right? So if we go for the Sunday session, extra session on Sunday, obviously I will take care that it should be a bit late. We should start at maybe around 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. on Sunday, so that my friends from Middle East can conveniently join us, because Sunday is a working day in Middle East, right? But obviously that is on mutual understanding between the group. Once we all agree, we all are comfortable, we can increase this time span, right? Okay, guys, let me explain now a few details related to the items that we have discussed. See, there is one scenario which is in front of you guys, and this scenario is the first real lab. It's the first real lab topology, actual lab topology that you have to handle, right? Remember, there are 2 real labs at this moment, active labs. So you will be getting one out of those most likely, right? If lab 3 is confirmed, so once that will be cracked, we have to handle that as well. But right now there are 2 active labs, right? And one of the active lab scenarios it's in front of you. So very high level overview. I've told you that once we will start this formally, we will discuss a deep dive. But see what is there. Right at the very upper layer, you can see global ISPs, ISP1, ISP2, ISP3. Then you have regional ISPs, ISP4, ISP5, and ISP6. So we have global ISPs, we have regional ISPs. And over here we have one core, one headquarter. Then we have another headquarter over here. And there is the third headquarter. We have couple of client sites. And of course, these client sites will be connected via these headquarter sites, right? Uh, we have our internet router over here. On the left side, in this San Francisco headquarter, it's basically MPLS core. MPLS VPN structure is running on top of that. Overlay of basically MPLS VPN will go through over this particular core. And on the right side, we would be having structure of DMVPN. Now this is my DMVPN hub, and these are 2 spokes of DMVPN, right? So this is the overview, 5,000 feet overview of this lab topology, and this is one of the active labs. Now this is the second active lab. The scenario which I'm showing you, it's a second active lab, and this lab has 2 main parts. On the left side, we have James network, and on the right side we have Jacob's network. And if you talk about James network, we have a data center, we have a core network of James, we have a headquarters site, then we have certain branch networks, right? And of course, they will be all interconnected. And in the Jacobs site, again, we have a headquarter network, we have a core network, and we have some office network in the south. There will be certain interconnectivity between these two networks. And ultimately, the theme of this lab is that there will be a merger between this James and Jacobs network. So all will form part of one single company, right? Of course, details to follow. Once we'll discuss this in detail, we'll see what all is being asked exactly. Guys, it's a very important slide. I've shown you two diagrams of two real labs. And there are a number of questions which will be asked to you in each of those labs. If I conclude the technologies that you must be aware of to handle those real labs, well, this is a summary of the technologies. You must know this. So if you want to revise your CCNP R&S level concepts, I will suggest you to please revise these topics of layer 2, layer 3, some PGP, a very basic CCNA level topic, PPP authentication, MPLS layer 3 VPN, well, this is important. Dynamic multi-point VPN, very important. These two things are very important. DM VPN and MPLS layer 3 VPN. Quality of service, now they're not asking, you can skip this. A bit of multicasting, IPv6, and few IP services. So if you want to basically revise the technologies to prepare yourself for the real lab, well, this is the summary. This is a list of the topics that you must revise. And out of these topics, I would say this MPLS layer 3 VPN and dynamic multi-point VPN. Well, this is very important. These are very important because in all, I guess in every lab and in every T-shoot scenario, there are it is testing you over MPLS layer 3 VPNs and DM VPNs. So these are very, very important. I can always facilitate you guys in a way I can always share my own videos with you guys, maybe today or tomorrow, right? So you can always listen to those videos related to these technologies. That will give you a quick review of these technologies, and it will be a quick and focused review of these technologies. So I will be doing that. So I expect that you will be going through those in the coming days. Okay. Now let's now talk about the troubleshooting. Right? I've told you two active troubleshooting scenarios. Well, this is one of the active troubleshooting scenarios, first one, and you can see that it again has a core which is MPLS based, right? And we have a headquarter network over here, second headquarter over here. Then we have certain branch offices, right? And again, you can see on this side, you should expect MPLS L3 VPN, right? And on this right side, you can see this dynamic multi-point VPN hub and spoke. So you have DM VPN over here. That's why I'm telling you that MPLS layer 3 VPN and dynamic multi-point VPN. Cisco has lots of focus on these two things. Guys, this is the first troubleshooting scenario. Previously, we discussed two lab scenarios, configuration lab scenarios, right? Now, this is my troubleshooting scenario number 1. Troubleshooting scenario number 1. And if you want to basically see what technologies are being tested in this troubleshooting section, well, ticket number 1, it is related to layer 2 switching. Ticket 2 is related to PPP authentication. Ticket 3 is related to OSPF routing, EHRP routing, BGP, IPv6, and then you can see two tickets, trouble tickets related to dynamic multi-point VPN, one ticket related to MPLS layer 3 VPN, and one ticket related to NAS server, network access server, right? So this is the distribution of tickets in troubleshooting scenario number 1, first troubleshooting scenario. Now let's have a look at the second troubleshooting scenario. Troubleshooting scenario number 2. What is there in this issue scenario number 2? Well, this is a diagram of my troubleshooting scenario number 2, in which you can see that there are data centers, data center 1, data center 2, and then you have small office, medium office, large office, home office. You have global ISPs, you have a couple of normal ISPs, you have one global ISP. Then these sites are interconnected over these global ISPs. And by the way, the technologies which are being tested ticket-wise in this second troubleshooting scenario, it's being summarized over here. Ticket number 1, L2 switching. Ticket 2, BGP. Ticket 3, traffic engineering. Remember, this traffic engineering is not MPLS traffic engineering. It's traffic engineering based on simple matrix cost of OSPF, right? Then DMVPN. See, there are two tickets related to DMVPN over here as well. So that's why I told you that learning or understanding dynamic multi-point VPN is very, very important. L2 technologies, MPLS VPN, IPv6 NAT. So this is a summary of the technologies which are being learned and which are being tested in basically troubleshooting scenario number 2. I've already told you that the solution which is offered or taught, it's very much correct. Last 15 days, two students appeared, all passed. Right. One point related to the this web IOU. I will be sharing the stuff related to web IOU installation with you guys after the lecture today. And that stuff, it has a couple of files, a notepad file in which installation steps that are clearly mentioned, and I think a 10 minutes video, my own video, that will guide you how to install this VM based web IOU on your own machine. So you have to basically, you can refer to that video and that notepad and then install the stuff on your own machine. If you have any problems, you can always ping me during the weekdays. So I can always assist you in the installation of web IOU. By the way, I've got this web IOU up and running in my second machine, and this machine is simply a Core i5 8GB, right? Let me show you how you have to import the VM in this, right? This is the installation. Once you will follow that video, you will get this window up and running with you, right? Simply then go to manage. Sir, Asif, exactly. You don't need any L2 device. You don't require any physical hardware. I think 99.9% commands you can implement on this web IOU, right? Hardly there is one odd command, switch port no negotiate type, one odd command which doesn't work. Rest everything works. And as I've told you that even Cisco tests you in your real lab on the same web IOU. There are no physical devices, right? So it's not like GNS3. It imports the actual image and it gives you fully functional handling of the switching capabilities of the switches, right? Okay, let's see how to import a particular lab. See, we will go to manage, import lab, and remember you have to do this step only once. It's not required that you do this step every time. No, you have file, and we have to, by the way, start with the lab number 1. So this is the VM for that lab number 1. So I would be simply saying open, and Then I will click on this import. So I will say, okay, I want to select all the labs. Obviously there is one lab, lab 1, and I want to basically load all the initial configurations. I want to import all the labs and all initial configs. So I would be saying import lab, and here it is. Well, my lab 1, it has been imported. You can see config lab 1, config lab 1 imports. It has been imported in my web IO. This is how you import. And by the way, this stuff is to be done only once. Once you have imported this, you can go to this edit tab, edit this lab, and what you can now do is you can load the initial configs. I told you that there are a couple of variations, two variations in lab 1. So you can see config lab 1 with VRF and without VRF. For this, to start with, you will choose this CCIE V5 config lab 1, and that's it. All the devices with the IOSs, they're all functional, integrated, nothing to do. Simply save this, and after that, what I can do, I can click on this, and I will go to the devices tab, and I will then click on this play button, start all devices. Now this will start these devices together. I think there are around 50 devices, couple of routers, switches, ISP routers, right? And you got the message starting all the devices. It means the devices have been started. And you can also see that it has hardly taken 10 seconds, 10 or 15 seconds load all the devices. And what I've done is that I've already built the secure CRT sessions with these devices. How you will be doing that, I've shown you that in the demo video. So I will select this lab 1 and I will say connect, and here it is. The device is then process of starting up, right? And in fact, I have to choose the sessions from my RDP machine, right? So let me get hold of this lab and say connect. Yes, now it's my RDP machine which is in action, and you can see here it is. I've got access of my friends all the devices with initial configurations loaded on it, right? All the devices are available to me. And you can also see it has hardly taken less than a minute to access these devices. And then you can always play with. You can choose any device, and you can always do the configuration, start the configurations from the scratch, right? There's a comment, sir, what is the specification which is required? See, let me show you, okay, what is the specification of my machine which I am using. Go to control panel, and let's check the system. See, 8 GB memory, and it's Core i5 with 2.5 gig of processing, right? So pretty straightforward, nothing to bother, right? It's not a very high-end machine, and it takes around 6 GB, maximum 6 GB. So if you have 8 GB RAM, you are comfortable, right? So 2.5 gig, pretty ordinary machine, Core i5, and 8 GB of memory. And I'm able to access all the devices with pretty much ease. You can see it's a very good speed. No problem. Right? I can do whatever I want to do. So see the it's a very easy handling, right? So that's not the point, right? It's a very straightforward installation, and a pretty smooth working. So it's a good way to basically practice yourself. The idea is that no need of any physical device and no need of any hardware, right? No need of building any topology yourself. It's already pre-built stuff. See, this is the topology which is running. If you want to see the overall topology, well, this is my overall topology. So I can see this diagram, and this is that what we discussed as well. You can see these are my those global ISPs, ISP 1, 2, and can drag on the right is ISP 3, right? And then I've got headquarters and internet router, and furthermore regional ISPs, right? And the client sites. Guys, any question? I will be sharing the video how for the installation of this web IOU along with the relevant files with you guys in the follow-up email, and you can always build your own setup with the help of that particular shared stuff.